える竜爪剣
Hi everyone, welcome to another OP-13 leader video. Today I have the final leader that we are going over in the entire set. It's the Red Black Sabo. Now I'll explain how this deck is played after we go through each of the cards, so just stick around for that. I'm going to explain the leader in the deck list now. It's Sabo Red Black 5 life, 5000 power. If you have 4 or more life cards, give this leader minus 1000 power. And the Dawn times 1 ability is if you have a character with a cost of 8 or more, all of your characters and leader gain plus 1000 power. Pretty decent, right? Once you get to 3 life, you're essentially a 6000 power leader, okay? Especially if you have a 8 cost or more on the board, and most of the time you will. Let's get right into the cards that comprise this deck. First off, we have our first searcher out of 3, so we have 3 total searchers in this deck, right? First one's gonna be the Bello Betty, the red Bello Betty from OP5. It's a 1 cost 2000 power. On play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal a revolutionary army type, and just put the rest at the bottom, okay? This deck list is heavy revolutionary army type. I think that's so far what most people have made their deck list comprise of. And I think there's another version of this, that's the Dressrosa version, which I hope I can make another video on. I hopefully will, just because I still want to test the deck out more, and then I can have that list out. But anyways, not to digress, we go on to our second searcher. It's the 1 cost 2000 power Monkey D Garp. We talked about this OP-13 searcher is in most of the red colored leaders, okay? Because of how good it is, it's just a look at 4 cards from the top of deck and reveal a 3 cost or more and add it to your hand. That's only possible though if your leader is Luffy, Sabo, and Ace. Go on to our third searcher. I'm gonna go over these by cost, right? So we'll skip over these 2 real quick. Our next searcher and final searcher, well, not really, because we do have the stage, I shouldn't say that. This is the 1 cost Koala 2000 power. On play, if your leader has the revolutionary type, army type, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, reveal 1 Nico Robin or revolutionary type, and then trash the rest. It's decent searcher to be able to fill up your trash, because you do want to fill up your trash since your main play is the dragon in this deck, which we'll get to. Next up is the 4 cost Hack from OP12. It's a 4 cost 5000 power blocker, alright, but it's only a blocker if you have the revolutionary army type as a leader. And it gets plus 4 cost, so this is your first 8 cost character that you can play on the board at 4 Dawn, okay? And its on KO ability is if your leader has the revolutionary army type, you KO one of your opponent's original cost 4 or less. So it's pretty decent, it's a good blocker, and it allows you to use your leader ability early on, especially when you're on the odd curve, right? Anyways, our first 2K is coming up. It's the 4 cost 5000 Morley. Ability is if your leader includes revolutionary army in its type, the character gains plus 4 cost. So if you don't have anything else to play, you can play this out early to be able to use your leader ability. Otherwise, it's just mainly a 2K counter, right? Which brings us to our second 2K counter. It's also the hack. 6 cost 7000 power, 2K counter. It's just plain vanilla. Like I said, it's mainly used as a 2K counter to fill your trash and then, you know, return it into your deck with the Monkey D Dragon. Next up is the main card in this deck. It's the 6 cost 7000 power blocker, Sabo. Okay, it's activate main once per turn. One of your characters gains plus 2 cost until the end of your opponent's next turn. Give 1 rested Dawn card to your leader. Really decent if you're able to get this out early, because then that allows you to also attach 1 Dawn to your leader and use your leader ability, right? And it gives plus 1000 to all your characters. So if you're able to go on curve and play Hawk and then Sabo and then Dragon, very, very good. Now, next up we have our third 2K counter in this deck, and I believe this is the last 2K counter we have. It's the 6 cost Sabo blocker. Okay, it's 6 cost 6000 power. If you have 15 or more cards in your trash, give this card in your hand minus 3 cost. So once you fill up your trash a bit, it essentially becomes a 3 cost blocker. Let's go on to the next card. I'm gonna go over to our 8 cost Dragon with Rush. It's the 8 cost 9000 power OP-07 Dragon. On play, give your leader or up to one of your characters 2 rested Dawn. Okay, you can only give it to 1 leader or 1 character. You can't split them evenly between. Just little rush power there. Next up we have our 8 cost 8000 power OP-12 Dragon. This is the main bread and butter of this deck, to be able to put bodies out many bodies out, right? Its on play is you may place 3 Revolutionary Army type cards from your trash at the bottom of your deck in any order, and if your leader is Revolutionary Army, play 1 character card with a cost of 6 or less from your trash. So very important to be able to counter out with your cards, and on top of that, trash the cards that you want to play out with this dragon. The main character card in this deck that you want to play out. Next up we have the 9 cost Stucci. 9 cost 9,000 power on play. Place one of your characters into the trash and then you KO one of your opponent's characters. Really good, especially if you're going up against a top heavy deck, right? Top end heavy deck that plays the bigger bodies one by one each turn. So you're able to play this out, get rid of one of your searchers and then KO their big body. Really good card. I can see why Emu also runs it, right? They run 2 of these now. Next up we have our final 10 cost. It's the Gold D Roger. Now I've talked about this in my past videos, why this isn't always included. It's because of how many blockers are everywhere now. Each top deck has its own blocker or multiple blockers that can prolong the game essentially. And having this is not only just a scare tactic in red decks, it's a really good card to play out to swing for lethal. Now, there are matches that we will come across where I use this as like the final act, where I'll go down to 0 life and I'll just play this out next turn and swing with all my bodies and win the game. You might want to think about bumping this up to 1 more maybe, but I've found that you can find it pretty consistently, especially with the GARP searcher, right? It allows you to search for it. Those are all basically the character cards that we have for the deck. Let's talk more a bit about Goldie Roger. And I've said in my past video, I think it was a couple of videos back with the Ace leader, where you should be getting this card as soon as possible. And during that time, the prices were lower than what they were. Now look at the prices of what Goldie Roger is. I'll put it right here. It's starting to get expensive in the West especially, and it's because of just how good this card is into red decks. Most red decks are running this Goldie Roger, even if it's not meta decks. Like, take for example, I went against Asanji at my LGS, and Asanji, what was it, PRB? Or yeah, PRB1 Sanji leader, or was it EB1? I think it's PRB1. And they ran this, and I was just completely shocked because the deck list that I know of don't run the 10 cost Roger. Anyways, let's get right into the events. We only have one event. It's the Waxing Fist from OP-12. It's basically a 1 cost counter plus 2,000 to your leader or character. And then if you have an 8 cost or more character on board, that's Revolutionary Army type, of course, you gain an additional plus 2,000 power. So it's a 4k counter for 1 cost, but you have to have a Revolutionary Army type on board that's 8 cost or more. So that we only run 3 of these. Next up, we have the 1 cost Revolutionary Army General Headquarters. Its activate main is you may trash 1 card from your hand and rest the stage. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal 1 Revolutionary Army type card and add it to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom. Now you can see this deck is very search heavy, and it's because of the fact you only have like 3 or 4 key pieces. I would say it's the Dragon, the Sabo blocker, the Stucci, and the Goldie Roger, depending on the matchup, right? But these are the main 4 cards that you want to be getting. The only problem is the GARP is the only one that can search the Stucci and the Roger. Otherwise, you're just searching for your Dragons and your Sabos and 2k counters. The main way you want to play this, I think I've found the best curve to be on, is the going first. And that's because you're able to do your search, then third, do more searches if you can, but attack big. Then on your next turn, you play out your tiny little blockers, like say the 4 cost Hawk or even a Morley, and then attach that 1 extra Dawn you have to your leader, and then you're boosted up, right? But I've also found success in going second, so I'm not quite sure yet which is the best curve for the Sabo leader. It seems that either works, and it's just heavy dependent on the matchup, right? You just want to take whatever the opponent wants to have. And like I said, the main way you play this deck, you build up your characters, play the Hawk, the 4 cost, then play the Sabo blocker, your 6 cost, and then go onto the Dragon to bring out the Sabo, and then towards the end play your Stuccis to get rid of their bodies and keep swinging with your big characters like the Dragon. And if you have a couple Sabos on board, you can swing with 1 Sabo or so. But that's mainly how you play it until you want to go for lethal. Then you or your opponent either go to 0 life, then you play out the Goldie Roger, right? So you'll see what I mean when we go take a look at the matches coming up. That's the red-black Sabo leader. Let's get right into the games, okay? Okay everyone, we are on our first match of the day. It is against Emu, alright? One of the best decks in format, supposedly. I know I say that every time we go against one, but it's just funny to me that a lot of these content creators on One Piece find this deck so scary and they want it banned, we want it banned, but like learn how to play the game maybe and play around the Emu leader because it's super easy to beat. I don't know why you guys complain about it and call for bans. Like that, you're a joke. You're a joke if you're calling for bans, I think. Anyways, let's go straight into the match. First off, we take second from them. We choose, right? Here's what I was saying. You want to take whatever the opponent wants, and Emu loves to go second. So we go ahead and take that from them, do a search. We take the Hawk here, I think, just so we can use that leader ability early. Play out another searcher, take the 8 cost rush dragon, pass it back over. We can use the stage next turn to be able to build up our trash. Okay, we get another 2k in hand from draw. We play out the stage, and then we trash the Hawk 2k, get a Morley, another 2k to replace it, attach the rest of our Dawn, swing for 7, they take. Pass it back over. Emu does its whole thing that it does, right? Does its searches, does its draws, whatever it wants to do. Next up, we're on our 6th Dawn turn. So we go ahead and play the Hawk. We attach Dawn to our leader, and now it's 6,000 because with the leader ability, it doesn't get that minus 1,000 anymore, right? Even though we're at 5 life, it gets plus 1,000 because of that Dawn times 1 ability. We go ahead and do a search with the stage. We get the 6 cost Sabo finally, okay? There's a argument to be made that we should have done the 3 cost stage first to do a search and then played out the Sabo because we are at 6 Dawn, right? The 6 cost Sabo is a lot better to play out than the Hawk just because, you know, you can still attach a Rested Dawn and it's a blocker. Anyways, we get back into it. We do a search with the Garp and then we get another Sabo here. Pass it back over to them. They bring out their Warcury. Pass it back over to us. They want to build up board first. That's perfectly fine. We play out the Rush Dragon, swing into them for 7. They counter out. Swing into them for 10 this time and they take. They're at 2 life. I'm surprised they didn't block to draw another card, so we pass it back to them. They're running the 2k Sabo like we are, the 6 cost, right? Well, the 3 cost technically if you have 15 or more in trash. And they play out the Jupiter and the Warcury perfectly fine. They swing into us for 5. We take this. They swing into us for 7. Do end up countering out with 2 2ks. That's kind of a waste because if we would have taken that, we would have been at 5,000 normally and then 6,000 with leader ability, so we could have attacked with 7,000. We go ahead and do another search with the Rev Army. We get the Koala. We do a search with the Koala and then trash the rest of those cards. Now we can use the Monkey D Dragon consistently, put 3 at the bottom of our deck. That's the Sabo and the 2 searchers, and we play out the Sabo blocker. Perfect. After we play out the Sabo blocker, we're able to attach a Rested Dawn to our leader, so now we attack 6 into the Saturn, swing 6 with a Hawk, and then swing 10 with the Dragon. They finally block and draw 1 card with that. They play out their 10 cost Gorosei finally. We're in a decent position here. We have a lot of bodies built up. We have a blocker. Too bad the Hawk can't KO any of them, right? Just because of the cards' abilities. So they swing 6 into the Hawk. We take this. We can't KO anyone. Let it go. They swing 7. I think we can go ahead and take this safely. Yep, perfect. Now we're at 3 life and now we're a 6,000 power leader. They swing 8 at us. We use the Waxing Fist to counter out. Cool. They use their 10 cost Gorosei to bring out all 5 elders. They swing 7 into us, I'm pretty sure. Yep, 7 to 6. I think we counter out of this. Yep. Cool. And then we get the Roger from draw. Now remember that Roger card is very important. We go ahead and play out the Dragon Rush, attach 2 to our leader. Attach 1 rested, 1 more, so we can swing for 9. They go ahead and block out of this to draw 1. We swing for 9 again. They go ahead and counter out of this with an event, I'm pretty sure. Yep. And a 2k, event and a 2k, so we swing for 10 this time using the Dragon. They use an event and a 2k again. We attach 2 Dawn to our Dragon and swing for 12. I think they end up blocking out of this. Yep, perfect. And we swing with the Sabo. I wouldn't. Yeah, we just keep it on board. No need to, you know, push our luck with it. So we keep the Sabo on board. Perfect choice. They go ahead, do their whole thing, swing for 7 at us. We counter with a 2k. Swing 7 again. I think we can clearly take this. They swing 7, 2k for sure. Here we're actually thinking maybe if we go down to 0 life, we can just go for game next turn, but that's fine because they have like 2 more attacks coming, right? So they go ahead and bring out the 5 Gorosei again, And I think we take these last two cards, even though we could have blocked out of one of them. These last two hits, I mean, sorry. They get the Jupiter from the search with the Saturn. They attach 1 to Nuzjuro, swing for 8, we take. They should swing again with their leader, yep, and then we take this. So you can see where we're going with this. We play the Goldie Roger out, use the leader ability with the Sabo blocker, swing for 7, swing for 8, swing for 9, swing for 10, and that's about GG because they can't counter out of these 2, 10, and 13k attacks, right? So they go ahead and give up. That was GG to our opponent. It was a really good game. We were only comfortable enough to go to 0 life because of the fact that we had the Roger in hand already, and we also had like 3 huge bodies on board, all 3 dragons. So that was really perfect. And we also had that blocker to be able to use our leader ability. And that's basically how you go against Emu, right? It's either using the Goldie Roger unblockable, the Sanji unblockable. And there's also other ways, like Green Zoro can definitely defeat Emu pretty easy, in my experience at the very least, because of the amount of swings that he can do. So, and he's pretty aggro. But anyways, that's a different video. Good game to our opponent, and I'll see you in the next match. Okay everyone, we are on our second match. It is up against Red Purple Roger. Red Purple Roger is one of my favorite leaders in the set for sure. Anyways, we mulligan that first hand just because, let's go back a bit just to see. We had 2 stages and then 3 like big cards in hand, right? Let me double check one last time. Sorry about that, I just wanted to be sure. Yep, we had the 8 cost Dragon, 10 cost Roger, and then 1 2k and then 2 Rev Army stages. Yeah, it's okay to mulligan this, I think, even though we could have just kept this and it would have been okay also, because we could have just searched with the Rev Army stage. But either way, we still get a good hand here. Did we take second from them? No, they chose to go first, which is what Roger wants. He always wants to go first. We would have taken first from him if we had the choice. So anyways, play out the Koala, take out the stage, take the stage, and then trash the rest. So we start filling our cards early because we do have the 8 cost Dragon, right? And we want to bring out that Sabo. And then we have the Garp search this time. I think we take the blocker Sabo, yep. Perfect, now we have 2 of those. One to play on our 6th Dawn turn, and then the next one with the Dragon. So we go ahead and play the stage out, trash the Sabo so that we can play it out later with the Dragon, right? Do a search, we take the Hawk, swing into 7 for them after attaching the rest of our Dawn. They take and pass it back over to them. We have a decent hand now. They do their ramp, swing for 7 at us, we take, of course. We're not going to counter out this early. Trash the stage, get the 2k counter Hawk. We're on our 6th Dawn turn, play out the Sabo and use its ability to swing for 7 at the Roger, and they take. So we're each at 3 life, perfect. Pass it back over to them. Here I am checking my trash to be sure. We need to have at least 3 other Revolutionary Army type cards in the trash. You always have to be aware of that in order to use the 8 cost Dragon's ability. And I think I've made mistakes in the past with some games where I only realized I had like 2, or I actually only had 3 exact Rev Army cards, including the 6 cost Sabo I wanted to play out, so it ended up bottom decking anyways. And notice, you can play up to 1 character card with a 6 cost or less from your trash, right? Meaning any. It doesn't have to be a Rev Army card. It doesn't have to be a... Yeah, it just doesn't have to be a Rev Army card. It can be any card from your trash with the cost of 6 or less. So remember that too. Anyways, we wait for what the Roger does. He swings at us for 6. I think we counter out, right? Perfect. We want to be conservative now with our health since we're already past the limitation of our leader ability where it gives us minus 1000. They go ahead and play a Beckman. Now this is a weird addition. I didn't realize that the red purple ran Beckmans, but this list is running Beckman. So he goes ahead and gets rid of our Garp. He can't get rid of the Sabo because it's a 7000 power, right? Anyways, we do a search with the Rev Army, get the Waxing Fist, play out the Dragon, put 3 back into our deck and play out the other Sabo. And then we use each of the blocker Sabo's abilities to give us 2 rested Dawn, and we swing for 8. They take, swing for 8 again. We're comfortable swinging with that blocker just because we have another blocker on board, right? And we have lots of counter in hand. We go ahead and pass it back to them. They should start swinging first because they're already on 10 Dawn, but they don't. They use their Divine Departure on our Sabo to give it minus 8000, right? That's like a 5 Dawn cost To be able to do that, give minus 8,000 to a leader, to a character, sorry, not a leader. So they swing with the buggy into that Sabo. We let it go. We're not going to counter out of that. They have so many other attacks coming and they can just use the searchers that they have on board, right? So they swing 8 into us. We go ahead and counter out of this. 7, 8, 9. Yep. So we can fill trash just in case. They swing 8 at us this time. We go ahead and block and do a 2k. Because that's their final attack, right? It's not like they have anything with rush that's 3 cost. So we play out the dragon on our turn, attach 2 rested Dawn to our leader, then do the ability of the blocker Sabo. Perfect. We play out a searcher. We take another rush dragon, right? We swing 3 into the buggy, get rid of that. Swing 9 into the Ben Beckman. I think they get rid of that. Yep. Swing 9 into the leader. They counter out, of course. Swing 10 this time into the leader. They counter out again. And then we swing. No, we keep this up. We shouldn't swing. But we end up swinging anyways. I think it's because they only have 1 attack and that's coming from the leader itself. And we're not afraid to take life now. So we swing 8 into them. They go ahead and use a counter. Perfect. They're using more cards in hand in exchange. They go ahead and play out the 10 cost Shanks. Okay, give minus 1,000 to all my characters. So basically negates my leader ability. Swing 2 into the koala. Perfectly fine. They swing 7 into the blocker Sabo. We let it go, right? Or we counter out of this one, but they attack into it again, I'm pretty sure. No, they don't. So they end up attacking into the... They should have gotten rid of the Sabo, in all honesty. That gives me the free rested. I don't know why they didn't do that. So they swing into the 8 cost Black Dragon. Of course, we're not going to counter out. We don't have any counter in hand to do that. So good thing we saved the Sabo, right? Now, Shanks is giving all our characters minus 1,000 cost. That's great because we have a Stucci in hand to get rid of the Searcher and get rid of their Shanks. Perfect. Use leader ability of the blocker Sabo. Swing 8 into Roger. Cool. And then swing 10. They take this last life. Pass it back over to them. We probably have game this next turn. They go ahead and give up anyways, right? Because they know where this is headed. We still have 3 life. Even if they were to attach their Dawn evenly between the Searchers and try to go for game, it wouldn't have mattered. Even if they played out the 8 cost, no, even if they played the Rayleigh, it couldn't rest our Sabo. We still have a blocker, so we essentially have 4 life. And even if they played the Shanks, yeah, it wouldn't have mattered. We would have gone for game the next turn, especially because we have the 8 cost rush dragon, and they just didn't have enough encounter. They didn't have enough counter in hand to be able to survive. So GG to our red purple Roger here. Let's go into the next match. Okay everyone, we are on our 3rd match. It's against red blue Ace. He goes ahead and takes first because we chose to go second. I do think now that I'm looking at this, against Ace, it was better that we go second because it helps us develop bodies better and quicker than he could. We take second. He plays out his Searcher. Let me make sure this is 2 times speed real quick. Yep, it is. We do 2 searches with the Garps. We take a Stucci, and I think we take the blocker here. Yep, perfect. So now we have 2 blockers in hand. We really need that stage now to be able to fill our trash. They attack into us for 7, we take. We attach the rest of our Dawn to our leader, swing for 8. They counter out of this. We have a weird hand right now. We have 3 of the blocker Sabos and then a bunch of 2k. They attack 7 into us, we counter with 2 2ks. Cool, they pass it back to us, we play the blocker Sabo out. Use its ability, swing for 6. They go ahead and block with the Marco to draw 2 cards. We pass it back over to them. Our goal is to just develop bodies now. They swing for 7 at us. We still have only 2 in the trash. Remember, we need 4 cards total. 3 to return to our deck and 1 to play out. So we have 2. We counter out of this, 2k, 1k, and now we block with the Sabo for sure so we can play it out with the dragon, see? So really smart because we already have 2 other Sabos in our hand to just play normally. But this time, this turn, since we're on our 8 Dawn, we can use the dragon to return 3 of the 2ks and then play the Sabo out, use its ability, swing 6. It's all about just developing board and being defensive at the same time. So they counter out of this attack, we pass it back over to them. So they do play out the new gate blocker, attach 2 rested each. We take this, right? We can't even counter if we wanted to. And then we take this next attack for sure. We get the 1 cost waxing fist and then we finally get the stage. But we're going to use the Stucci to get rid of that big blocker. Perfect. So they just wasted a turn and they didn't develop any bodies. Well, meanwhile, we have 3 big bodies on board, right? Use the Rev Army stage to trash the Sabo. get a rush dragon. Cool. Use the ability of the blocker Sabo, swing for 7, and they use their leader ability on us. We swing 9 into the Yamato. I believe that they counter out of this. Yep. Now they only have 4 cards in hand, so we swing 8 into the Yamato because they already used their leader ability first off, and by swinging 8, that allows us to put pressure on them to even go less cards in hand, to basically drain their resources, right? Now you notice they have less cards than they would have originally. And plus we have 2 life, we can decent amount of counter, we're perfectly fine. They play out another blocker gate, cool. They attach 2 rested to their leader, they attack into us, we take. We play out the rush dragon, attach 2 to our leader. We have to, I think we should have used the blocker Sabo ability first to add another rest on. We should have done that first. I don't know why we didn't. So we swing for 8, they counter out. We swing for 9, they take. We swing for 10. They block out, I think. Yeah, they block. We swing for 10 again. Perfect. We attach 1 Dawn, swing for 11. They take this one. They have 1 life left. Perfectly fine. I don't think we use this to attack, right? Yeah, we just pass it back over. I wouldn't, so it's good that we didn't. They attack into us, we just counter out. They use the tax gate. That's perfectly fine. We have a decent amount in hand. Right now, I think the game plan is to play out the Stucci, get rid of... Well, I don't think actually we get rid of the Stucci. I think here we play out the 8-cost dragon to be able to attack into them and then go from there. Because we could either go for game or, you know, let's see. I think we play out the dragon here though. We get rid of the Searcher Garp to play out the dragon for sure. That's what I would do even now. We're trying to make up our mind here just to do the math also to see if we can go for lethal. So we use the ability of the blocker Sabo, attach 1 rested, so now we're swinging for 10 at their leader. They take. Okay, so we swing 10 again. They block. This time we pay 2 to be able to swing for 10 again. They use their leader ability and waste more cards, so we're like, okay, then let's just go for game, attach the rest of our Dawn, swing again for 11, and they don't have enough counter. We would have lost next turn because they do have the Roger, and I think we knew that at the time, so it's good that we decided to go for game and we had the amount of cards that we did in hand. So GG to our ace. It was a really close match, really good match. I was just able to develop bodies quicker than he could, and denying him that first 10 cost blocker new gate was icing on the cake, right? Which led us to this victory. Anyways, GG to our opponent. Let's go into the next match. Hello everyone, welcome to the final match that I have for you guys today. It is the mirror match essentially. So it's Red Black Sabo versus Red Black Sabo. Here our opponent chose to go first, so we're going second. We have to take that into account to see if we want to keep this hand or mulligan it. We decide to keep it, right? We have 3 searchers essentially. We play out the Koala to be able to build up our trash, get the Rev Army. Use the Garp, get the Stucci. It's good that we got the Stucci because it comes in handy later. Although there's an argument also to be made that we should have taken the stage out first to be able to fill our trash, right? We pass it back over to them. They're the first ones who are able to attack, so they do play their stage. And this one is running the, what's it called? Mars. Is it Mars? Whoever this is, I think this is Saturn. I think this is Mars. So this is the Mars blocker from the Elders from Emu deck, right? They're able to use this because it's not leader locked, so good on them. That's some new tech that they added into their deck. Perfectly fine. They attach 2 to their leader, swing for 6. We take, we play out the stage, trash the stage, get the Hawk here, right? Oh no, we do have a Hawk in hand, so it's best to get the 2k. We do a Garp search and we get the Roger, just because we know that's gonna also come in handy later. So we attach the rest of our Dawn, swing for 6, they also take. We pass it back to them. I don't think they used the trigger on this. It was probably a Waxing Fist, right? That's mainly the only trigger that this deck has. They play out the Hawk. They have leader ability. They swing 6 at us. We also get the Waxing Fist. And we decide to use it to draw 1 and then trash top of our deck. I think we just wanted more cards in hand. I would have kept it, honestly. But it's always in hindsight. We're on our 6th Dawn turn. We play out the Hawk. Attach the rest of our Dawn. Swing for 8. They use their Hawk to KO ours. Perfectly fine. We use ours to get rid of their board, even though it was just a searcher. We do a search with our Rev Army stage and get the 6-cost Sabo. Now next turn we can use the dragon to bring out the Sabo. Anyways, they do a search of their own, they get their Morley, and they bring out their own 6-cost Sabo blocker. Use its ability, attach 1. I think they attach the rest of their Dawn and swing for 7. No, they swing for 6, counter out with a 2k. Cool, we play out our dragon, return 3. And then play out the blocker Sabo of our own. Notice how going second gave us that advantage to be able to play these bodies out real quick. We go ahead, attach 1 rested to our leader, and then swing for 7. They block. Of course, they do their own little search. They get the waxing fist. We're checking their trash to see what they have. They play out another blocker Sabo, use both of its abilities. They swing 9k at us. I think we counter out of this 2k, yep. We do a search first with the stage. We take the 2k. We use the Stucci to get rid of one of their blockers. Cool. We use the ability of the blocker, attach to our leader, swing for 7. That's fine, they block. I think we swing into the Sabo here, right? Yeah, swing for 10. They counter out of this, of course, with a waxing fist. We pass it back over. Yeah, that was a good call. Just get cards out of their hand instead of going to life. They play their own dragon in turn. So now they have 3 decent bodies on board. They bring out the 6 blocker that we just got rid of, right? Good on them. They use both their abilities, attach 2 rested to the leader. Do a search real quick. They get the 8 cost rush dragon now. Swing into us for 7. We counter out of this 2k. Perfect. They swing into us for 8. Okay, we have to take. Alright, we get our own 8 cost. Now we use the Stucci again, get rid of one of their blockers. Use the blocker ability. Swing into the Sabo. Try to get rid of it. 8 to 8, they counter out. 9 to 8, they counter out. 10 to 8, they counter out again. So we decide to do a search first before anything. Get a 2k counter for sure. We have too many 6 cost blockers and pass it back over. Alright, now they only have 3 cards in hand, good for us. We're able to swing big at their board next turn if need be. They play out another dragon, bring out the 6 cost blocker Sabo again. So now their board is just as filled as ours. You can see the pattern that this leader does, right? They attach their Dawn, swing into us for 8. We could block and counter, right? No, we do take. Okay. And then they attack into us for 9. I think we end up countering out of this, right? No, I think we take. I think we're thinking the 10, we can go for game. I'm not sure why we thought that, but we might just be going for game. Yeah, we take that attack. We play out the Roger. Okay, use the ability. Everyone's plus 1000. Swing for 7. They take. Swing for 8. We have to go in order of lowest to highest, right? So swing for 8. Okay. They end up taking this for sure. Swing for 9. Now if I was on their end, I'd be countering out of the smallest body attacks, right? Because that's the only ones you will be able to counter out of. So swing for 9, they use the waxing fist. Swing for 10, they have no more Dawn. 4 cards in hand now after taking life. So we swing for 9 again. Here's hoping on a prayer and luck, right? So we swing for 10, they take, and swing for 14. That's GG, they don't have enough counter. So GG to our opponent. They had 2 bricks in hand out of those 4 cards. That was basically luck, I think, because next turn they would have if we actually wanted to play this smart, we would have saved our life, countered out of the attacks early, and we could have survived maybe 1 more round and then used the 10 cost Roger if we were actually playing it smart. But we just decided to go for game here. Anyways, that was the mirror match. This is the last OP-13 leader I have for you guys. I'm probably gonna mess around with different leaders that I haven't used before and post videos on those, so we'll see. Like I said in my last video, if you guys have any suggestions, just comment down below what leaders you want me to try out or what decks you might want to see. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.